All right, welcome back, everybody. I got to cover this real quick. I know I just did in the last video, but I noticed something that was right in front of my face. And this is perfect. Just to give you a hint at something that's big that's touched on the new book, Illuminati Confirmed, the Jesuit Order. I talk a lot about the sun and science and the 93 million miles. Look at this, you guys. Look at how perfect this is. The news of Jeff Bezos being worth $201 billion. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I can. Let's make it bigger. Bigger. Jeff Bezos, number one, the richest American in tech. $201 billion. Means he's the richest in the whole country because tech's the biggest. $201 billion. Look at what day they say it was as of. September 3rd, 9/3, right? 9/3. And then what day was this article written? The article about his net worth on September 3rd of $201 billion was written October 5th, 10/5, right? 10/5. And remember, the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who serves the Catholic Church, Sunday, Sun 93 million miles away, God's Son 93, Crucifix 93, Nazareth 93. Anyhow, the man who founded the Order of Illuminati, the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, remember, he died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. But look at the Gematria of Order of Illuminati, 201, 93, 105, right? 201 billion as a 9/3 with an article on 10/5, Forbes. And it wasn't just that story. That same day was the same day Stephanie Ann Grisham was all over the news for her new book, and the former Trump administration member, where for a while she was proud to be, before now she's proud to go against Trump. But that was her big day in the news. That same day, Stephanie Ann Grisham, who's got another knockout type of chin, if you catch my drift. But 201, 93, 105. And remember, in Grisham's case, the birthday was July 23rd. They were on the news 10/5, going all over from all the news channels. CNN, MSNBC, talking about the book that day. It was their big coming out party. But it was 10 weeks and 5 days from their birthday as well, on 10/5. And then that's also their 75th day of their age. Grisham, 75, who's 40. Grisham, whose name equals 75. It was their 75th day of being 45 years old. And then they're going after number 45, Donald Trump, who's 75 right now. You know what I mean? But what are the odds of just these characters in the news on these days with these same numbers, in light of the fact that there's this cabal, the Order of Illuminati, this Jesuit cabal, doing this every day ritualistically by the numbers? I mean, what are the odds that those would have been two of the top headlines on that day, right? And they both have that perfect encoding and the perfect ritual. I mean, again, I didn't write the Forbes article. I'm the person that's just showing you that what they're reporting in the media is numerical code and like a matrix of information that's essentially just meant to control our minds, that we don't even know if it's really true or not. We're just constantly being told this stuff and how we should let it impact our lives, right? Essentially, that's what's going on. And, if you look up, Google says Elon Musk is worth $201 billion right now as well. 201, go figure. Again, remember, Jesuit equals 78, Tesla equals 78. At the beginning of this year, January 7th, the 78-year anniversary of the death of Nikola Tesla, they said Elon Musk passed Jeff Bezos in net wealth. And then Jeff Bezos went back in front of him. Now it looks like they're neck and neck at $201 billion. I talk about in my book, what obvious Jesuit plants these guys are. Again, that's what I'm telling you guys. These guys are fronts for corporations that are part of a fascist system that's really part of this Jesuit enterprise that's bullying the world. That's what I'm telling you. But Elon Musk has been going against the mainstream narrative. Yeah, again, the cooked up, contrived narrative that he's a big part of, right? You can't see the show. It's really a simple magic trick. But yeah, again, the new book is called Illuminati Confirmed, the Jesuit Order. A lot of you have sent in book covers. I'm going to tell you something right now. This might make some of you mad that I haven't looked yet. But I have not opened up a single email yet with a book cover submission. But this Sunday, what I'll do is I'll go through all the emails. I didn't want to get biased. I didn't want to see some and then not see others and have them in my mind. I just want to look at them all at once and see which one pops out to me. But this Sunday, think we'll do it earlier in the day. I'm on the West Coast, probably the middle of the day for you East Coast people. But Sunday, I'll show all the book cover submissions so far, and then just kind of see what people think. And then I'll have my own thoughts in my head. And I'll finish up my own little book here pretty soon. But yeah, it's just so obvious that the Illuminati, it is still in existence. And it's just part of this Jesuit network. But this is how they mock us every day. Well, why else would they do this stuff? I mean, literally 201 billion on 9/3, 10/5. By the way, let me bring this together more. Remember Triclavianism? Triclavianism is the 3 nails on the Jesuit logo, right? Triclavianism's 201 and 93, this word, and it represents the belief that Jesus was crucified with 3 nails, 201, 93. And in that same cipher, the Jesuit Order's 201, their formal title is the Society of Jesus. And remember, God's Son is 93, Crucifix is 93, Nazareth is 93. And the Bible, the 930th chapter is where the Christian section begins. The Christians that worship on Sunday, where science says the sun is 93 million miles away. And all of this is related to heliocentrism, which was arrived at in the 16th century. We learned about this in slave school, the battle between the Catholic Church and Copernicus. And does the earth go around the sun, or does the sun go around the earth? But the Catholic Church had a lot to do with this history. And in the same century that the Jesuits were created, English was standardized with the spellings in the 26-letter alphabet we use today, and this model was arrived at. And to the heliocentrism's credit, the mathematical calculations of this model are spot on. Come on, flat earthers. They have it dead on for when planets are going to be in this spot and eclipses are going to come. So again, for all of you guys who maintain that the earth is flat and you know it and it's the absolute truth and it's the most important truth, I'm still waiting. You guys have time. I'm still waiting for the flat earth model to, work it all out and have as accurate a predictions and show how that works on a flat earth. Again, I'm still waiting for that. But the point is, they synced up our understanding of the world with the language, with the calendar. And it could be also part of some sick, really cruel, genius, evil plot. It could. It seems that a lot of the calculations in heliocentrism don't make sense. There's just way too much 6. There is. The flat earther, that's how people contend that they know that the Earth's flat, because all those 6 measurements with the Earth and its rotation speed and orbital speed, there's definitely something up to it. It's tilt. It is all very suspect. And it's like you guys show me that NASA's full name equals 666, like you don't know that I'm the one that showed the world that. Come on, man. But somehow, though, they've made all the measurements and numbers work out perfectly, right? They got a calendar that just pays tribute to it throughout the year. Isn't it amazing how in Jewish Gematria, Old Testament equals 929? There's 929 chapters in the Old Testament, and September 29th, 929, is the day leaving 93 days left in the year. And again, 93 relates to Saturn as well, which to the occult is the keeper of time. Many contend that the God of the Old Testament is really Saturn, because it's all astrotheology. But, with regards to Order of Illuminati being 93 in the most pure cipher, the most famous occultist in the world that wrote a lot of books about this subject of letters and numbers, Gematria, is Aleister Crowley. And remember, the guy who did the song about him, Ozzy Osbourne, is Mr. 201. What was that tour that I just showed of his that started with Metallica right before Cliff Burton's death? The Ultimate Sin Tour started on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. And then Cliff Burton died, synced up with Ozzy Osbourne, Mr. 201, who did the song about Mr. Crowley, and Mr. Crowley worshipped the number 93 with his occult religion, Thelema. It was years ago that they showed how a member of the U.S. House of Representatives was a member of Thelema, and they made him seem like he was crazy. And I said, see, I think it was GQ magazine that wrote the article about the politician that was in Thelema. But I think why they really do that is because they're showing that, like, a politician could be associated with this. What if you found out a lot of the politicians were actually associated with this, and they just made it seem like it was this one lone nutty guy who's probably not even in the House anymore? I'll have to go back and look up who that was. I don't hear his name a lot. I don't know if he's still there. But again, I think a lot of the ruling class is part of these Illuminati-related networks. Secrecy in high places, controlling the masses with obvious mockery. But yeah, again, all this stuff happening right now before I finish the book is just like, yeah, this tells me that my book is right. I'm not writing a book just to sell a book, to put bullshit out there that's meaningless. I'm putting a book out there again, and I feel that I did that with both my books. You know, second book, first book's over here, too heavy to pick up. Getting too old, it's so big, but I feel like I brought real knowledge into the world that's real helpful, that does have the power to free people's minds from this nonstop matrix of bullshit. I mean, come on. How can it be so perfect day after day? Illuminati has been confirmed. Illuminati, the light, the sun worship, 93. Manly P. Hall's book, you know, the one cipher he tells you to really focus on is where Order of Illuminati's 93. But again, the reason I realize you got to focus on more than that is because, like we figured out at the end of 2016, it's the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, just like Manly P. Hall writes about. But when you run it in reverse, that's when you see the other half of the code, you know? Imagine how it was. You know, the first 3 years, I was continuously saying, like, what are the odds of this? Who would do this? Gospel 74, Parables 74. Well, let's just even forget occult 74, but Gospel 74, Parables 74, Messiah 74, Cross 74, Jesus 74. Look up the name Joshua. It's the English translation of Jesus. Joshua 74. And, I mean, who would encode all that in the language so perfect, right? But then when I learned reverse, and to run it the reverse with numerology, you know, Jesus Christ is 74. I mean, what are the odds of that? It's like, come on, that can't be a coincidence. George Washington, the big Mason, George Washington in that cipher is 74. You know, just like Masonic is 74. And just notice things like how George Washington is 187 and 74, right? In the most pure cipher, it's 88. In Greek, Jesus' name is associated with the number 888 in Greek isopsophy. Look it up, it's a fact. His number is associated with 888. But George Washington, who was favored by the Catholic Church, who the first Jesuit university is named after, Georgetown, look at how his name goes with, you know, 187, Society of Jesus. Holy Roman Empire is also 187. So is Washington, D.C. But 187, like Society of Jesus. 74, like Jesus in English. 88, the number that you could associate it with his connection in Greek isopsophy. There's probably something with 245 that I don't know yet. Who knows? There might be something with 245 when you run it in verse. But again, this stuff's not an accident. Just like it's not an accident that George equals 57 and Georgetown equals 57. And George Washington was inaugurated at age 57 in 1789, just days after Georgetown was established by John Carroll by the numbers. You know what I mean? These things are rituals. Catholic Church is real big on the moon. Moon's got the 57 connection. Moon Mary. Sun Jesus. Sun and moon. Oh, by the way, God, sometimes I something that I have to figure out how to tuck into my book right now, because I already going on the 1-8. I guess it won't be that hard to tuck in, but I just realized this before the live stream. Look at how sun worship, you guys, is 54-54, right? Sun worship 54 forwards and backwards. Sun 54, right? Jesuit Order 54. John Carroll 54, right? John Carroll established Georgetown when he was 54 years old, right before George Washington's 57th birthday. But look at this. Come back to sun worship. 54-54, right? But the 108. The 108's the bigger part. I was just saying the other day, there's got to be something more to 162, and the reason they got the 162 Major League Baseball game season. Just for the record, Major League, you guys, is 108. 108 double stitches on a baseball. Major League Baseball is 162, like the number of games in a season. And if you write baseball, it's 162 with the alphabetic order in reverse. It's also 54 forwards and backwards, like how many outs in a game, this number connected to the sun. Well, notice sun worship. Whoops. There we go. Sun worship. Got the 162 in it, like a baseball season. Baseball, you know what? When you think about it, baseball season, right? It starts in spring training, when the sun's coming back, the new year, goes through the hot of the summer, and then ends, you know, as it starts to get cooler, right? End of October, more recent years, early November. But, okay, I think there is something to this. But that 108, the 108, man, now I really see it. It's funny. I didn't have this in the book before just now, but I'm telling you, I'm going to figure this has to be in there. Geometry. Remember, Gematria means geometry and language. Geometry is 108. 108 forwards and backwards. Symmetry, right? Just like in geometry class, you learn about symmetry. And 108 is the number that science uses to explain the phenomenon of eclipses. If you're not aware, look this up. They say that from the Earth to the sun, the diameter of that distance, or that distance, the distance from the Earth to the sun, they say it's the diameter of the sun 108 times. And they say the diameter of the sun is 108 Earths. And from the moon to the Earth, they say that's the diameter of 108 moons. And because of this mathematical ratio, that's how you get these perfect eclipses. So 108, right? The geometry of the orbits that make the eclipses, right? In the Catholic Church, the rosary has 108 beads, right? Sun Worship, 108. Geometry, 108, the number that connects it all, the 93 million miles away. I mean, I have to, in the same fact that I can't prove or disprove the mathematical measurements they have, it's possible that all these numbers are, okay, that's something to consider, you guys, that the numbers are the true measurements, and that's also why they've been encoded. I can't prove it one way or the next. But either way, you just see how it's all been made to fit, right? So you didn't need to really argue over that. Just that's what people get caught up on, like arguing over things and like just trying to disagree because their mind's too invested in this. All I'm trying to show everybody is that the Catholic Church, which has wanted to dominate the world from its inception, whose calendar we're on. We're literally on the Catholic calendar. I mean, how big of a sign is that? The English language is credited to a Catholic monk. All of these things did just happen in the 16th century. The calendar, the language, heliocentrism, all of this way of understanding the world all at once and all perfectly synced up and perfectly encoded in the language. Where you should worship on Sunday. But here's the thing. Sun worship, those numbers, remember what I talked about the other day. Saturn worship is also 201. Old Testament, Saturn. New Testament, Sun. 93, a number that's worshipped by the occult. Thanks to Aleister Crowley, we know about it. Saturn 93, the sun 93 million miles away. You see what I mean? Old Testament, New Testament, Jews, Catholics, Jesuits, a code, a way of operating, a system built in alignment with the stars. Making a mockery of the masses truly. With the knowledge every day. Maybe from their perspective, they're not making a mockery. Maybe their perspective is, we're not trying to mock you. We're just trying to show you every day what the truth is. We're trying to see if you have the eyes to see. And then here, just going back to the two Manly P. Hall ciphers. Remember, the sun to the occult also represents the eye. God's eye. Lighting up the world. You close your eye, darkness. When God opens up his eye, the light, right? The sun is the eye. Eye, 35. Eye's also 17, just like God, right? Okay? But I 35 with the most simple cipher. Remember, Catholic is 35. Holy See is 35. Holy See, that's the way they spell it. S-E-E, like see with your eye. Their giant pine cone in the Vatican. Pine cone represents the pineal gland in the mind. I've never torn apart a brain myself, but you can read about in other people's books that the mind's eye, the pineal gland, looks similar to a pine cone. And again, eye, 3 letters, right? 2 eyes on the face, 1 in the mind. E-Y-E, 5, 25, 5. The square root of 25 is 5. So the letters that make up I, E's the 5th letter, Y's the 25th. 5, 25, 5, added up 35. All break down to 5. 5 is the 3rd prime number, 3 letters. You don't think that this language is cleverly thought out and in tribute to mathematics, which people before the Bible claimed that was the language of God, that God spoke through numbers? Why the 4th book of the Bible is numbers, and numbers are foundation, and these people are so invested in numbers, and those of us who've been paying attention to this knowledge. Again, that's the one thing that I can say that's changed about me since I started this research. When I first started, all of this seemed like silly nonsense to me. Like, this is so stupid that they're doing this. What is this all about? But then I started to see how numbers, when you're paying attention to numbers, funny things can play out in your own life with numbers, and you're like, what in the world? Is God trying to show me something today that this isn't just so silly? And that's the way I interpret that. And then it happens again, and you say, wait a minute. I feel like God's trying to help me see that this isn't silly, and there's a reason that what I'm showing that these people are doing, there's actually something more to this. That's the way I interpret it. It's the thing about beliefs, though. They're open to interpretation. But again, I, Catholic, Holy See, controlling the mind's eye of the masses, doing it by a code. Remember, Europe, which is what the Catholic Church controlled for a very long time, until the Protestant Reformation, when they started to break away, which is when this nation was formed. And do you think the Catholic Church wanted to let any of it get away? Doesn't look like they did, does it? But Catholic 35, and then again, that other thing they control, China 35, like where Art of War, which is really their text, is credited to the Chinese war general. And you see all this stuff going on in the New World Order with the virus blamed out of China. Again, you guys, it's because it's their world. Go to the Jesuit universities and look at what's etched on their buildings. Go to Seattle University, not far from the Amazon headquarters. Seattle University is one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities. That's why they did that Jesuit ritual there, setting up the autonomous zone by the numbers next to Seattle U. And remember that big building that everyone was climbing all over? We documented that the building was part of an organization that was 201 years old at the time. Remember that? Gotta go back and look at all that. Strange Fellows or something. But, yeah, Order of Illuminati, you know, it's a thing, you guys. It's not just something to laugh at. It's not just a meme on the internet. Illuminati confirmed. Again, it's time to take notice. There is a small group of people controlling the mind's eye of the masses worldwide because they have the media and the technology. Here we're talking about big tech guy. All of this is possible because of technology. But, yeah, they're not hiding it. They are not hiding it at all. So I wanted to get on here and make that point. And I also want to say thank you to the people who left reviews that made it through. I saw there was some more positive reviews on the book. We're up to, where is it? We're up to 444 ratings. How about that? And, yeah, the latest review looks like it was from a couple days ago. Evil is planned out and orchestrated. By the way, today is October 8th, isn't it? My God, it's October 8th today. I swear to God, I didn't realize that before. That's funny that I have that realization about sun worship on 10/8. See, that's the organic side of the code right there. You know. Huh. I didn't have that in the book before today, but it's definitely going in because now I'm like, I already talked about 108 and geometry, and so, it goes in easy, but can't believe I was missing that. And now it just makes so much sense to me. How big are those numbers with the Jesuits? Saturn worships 201, right? 78 like Jesuit, 150 like Illuminati, 66 for a lot of reasons. It's the 11th triangular number, the master number. And you know what? In numerology, 11, that's interesting, because 11 represents Satan in some studies of numerology. And Saturn worship is 66, the 11th triangular number. That is interesting. Saturn and Satan, which sound very similar. But the Jesuits, they like these numbers. 54, 201. Okay. Today was a discovery long time in the making. And it's funny, think about how simple that is. Like, why didn't I know that already? It seems like I should have known that a long time ago, as long as I've been talking about 108 and eclipses in the sun. Some things have just been slipping through the cracks. But, funny, man. Disambiguation. Nathan in the chat, I was about to sign off. He says if you write out day of birth, 108, 54, 162, 54, go figure, man. Go figure. And we're all being marked on this solar calendar. How about that? How about that? That's interesting. Huh. Yeah. Again, there's more to Gematria than meets the eye. It's real knowledge that sheds light on a lot of real things. All right, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Until next time.